boys and girls. Mrs. Perugini here. So today we're going to continue learning about main idea. The other day, Ms. Chipo showed you this chart, and we talked about how main idea is the most important idea about a topic. It is the big idea, what a text is mostly about. Sometimes we can look at main idea kind of like a table. The tabletop are the big ideas, and then the legs are kind of like the details that hold up the table. So that's one way to really try to help you understand main idea. So today, we are going to talk about some important key words that help us identify main idea, and also just some different strategies that we could use to help us figure out what main idea is. So let's look at our learning target. It says, I can identify the main idea so I know what a story is mostly about. So a lot of times, if we are answering any kind of question and we see some of these keywords, it's usually a hint that, oh, they're asking me for the main idea. So sometimes they might say, what is the story mostly about or mainly about? Those are other ways of saying what is the main idea. Sometimes if you are asked for another good title for a story, that is also just like main idea, because very often a title of a story is usually what that story is going to be all about. Or if we are to summarize the story, sum it all up, basically what was the big idea, the main idea. So where are some places that we might find the main idea? So a lot of times a title could help us find the main idea. So I know one story that you're probably familiar with, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. That title alone lets me know that this book is going to be all about a boy who had a really bad day. Pictures are so important too. Just looking at pictures could really help us identify what the big ideas are. Sometimes a story might teach you some kind of lesson. That could help us find the main idea. Sometimes you might even find the main idea just in the directions or something. You might read a passage and it might say, you're going to read a story about a bird. That lets us know, oh, I know the main idea is probably going to be all about a bird. So directions, blurb. So when we say blurb, sometimes like on the inside cover or the back of a story, it might just give you a short little summary of what a book is about. That could also be what the main idea of the story is. So even on my book here, there's actually a little blurb right on the back, and it says, Alexander wakes up with gum in his hair. His best friend is mean to him. He has to eat lima beans for dinner, and there's kissing on TV. For Alexander, it's a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. So this even also gives me a clue as to what the main idea is of this story. Sometimes too, right in the beginning of a story, or maybe even at the end, could be more clues about what the main idea is. So here's some strategies we want to use in identifying main idea. Ask yourself, what is this all about? Again, think of that tabletop. What is the big idea that is happening? Okay, not all the little details that support it, but the big idea. Okay. Describe the main idea in 1 or 2 words. So if you read a story or you read a short, paragraph, and someone said in just 1 or 2 words, tell me what it was all about. What would those 2 most important words be, just to really, really sum it up? And then also think of a new title. So like we said before, another good title. That's another way of figuring out main idea. So even in Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, so if I wanted to come up with a new title for this story, I might have just said The Bad Day or The Miserable Day, just another title, which would also kind of sum up the main idea. All right, so that's what we want to focus on today. I'm going to read you just a very short little paragraph, and while I'm reading, keep in mind what you think the main idea is, and then I'm going to come up with a detail and also a new title. I just took a quick little peek at these 3 little questions that we're going to answer. Here we go. The Holland Tunnel is a roadway under the Hudson River. At one end of the tunnel is New York City. At the other end is the state of New Jersey. Almost 50,000 cars and trucks go through the Holland Tunnel each day. The distance is just over 1.5 miles. Depending on the time of day, it could be a long or short trip. So the question is asking me for what the main idea is of this paragraph. So if I had to maybe use my 1 or 2 word strategy, I know after I read this was all about the Holland Tunnel. So let me look at these answer choices. The main idea of the paragraph is A, what the Holland Tunnel is, B, the length of the Holland Tunnel, C, what the Hudson River is like. Well, I know that this really doesn't have to do all about the Hudson River. That can't be it. This was all about the Holland Tunnel, so I know my answer would be A, what the Holland Tunnel is. Okay? Now they did mention how long the tunnel is, but that is something that we would consider a detail. That's like one of the legs that's telling about the Holland Tunnel. So that's not the main idea, that's a detail. My answer would be A, what the Holland Tunnel is. Then they actually asked me a detail that tells more about the main idea is. So let's see. A, the places that the tunnel connects. B, how to get through the tunnel. C, other ways to cross the Hudson River. Well, I know that they did tell me what's on one side of the tunnel and what's on the other, so that could be a detail that supports the big idea. So I think my answer is going to be A, the places that the tunnel connects. And then the last question that they asked me is the best title for this paragraph. Because again, another good title. I can think of a new title that would really sum up the main idea. So do we think it would be a long or short trip, riding through a tunnel, or Holland Tunnel facts? So since this was all about the Holland Tunnel, I think another good title would be Holland Tunnel facts. All right, so this chart we will have posted in the Google Classroom, so you can always refer back to it when working on your main idea assignments. All right, but again, so these are just some helpful strategies in helping you figure out what the main idea of a story is.